sound. Devo Jones with the pick six, Keanu Neal with the hard hit, getting the ball back on offense. Watch Julio Jones keep moving the sticks. Calvin Ridley in for the score. We came back, we up 4, about to get in. Our victory stance, no coming back. We closing the door. ATL blackout. ATL blackout. ATL blackout. ATL blackout.
Welcome to the show today, baby. It's your boy Jimbo Dean, aka Jimbo Slice, aka Jimmy Obama. And you can call me any one of those you want, but please do not call me no damn New Orleans Saints fan. This is Pound for Pound ATL, and we are back. Week 1 is in the books, and we are ready to move on to the Dallas Cowboys. We're ready to move on to week 2. Big Mike, week 2 is here. What is going on, big dog? This Pound for Pound ATL. What's up, man?
Hey, man. I'm glad week 2 is here first and foremost, because it couldn't be here at a better time. Because, like I said, I watched the game. It was me, and I had my family, and I had Freddie Falcon. And ever since the game last week, I've had Freddie Falcon here, right here in this trash can.
Yeah,
right here in this trash can.
I see where
right here in this trash can. Now, you said it's week 2, so only because you said it's week 2, I'm gonna pull Freddie Falcon. I'm gonna pull Freddie Falcon out of this trash can.
Okay.
And we're gonna look forward to week 2. But I do want to take a little time today to touch back on week 1, because week 1 was not the result that we expected. And again, hey, shout out to Toby D, shout out to JR. I could feel y'all passion on Tuesday. I think everybody in DBN felt your passion on Tuesday. Very frustrating week, very frustrating game. It was a lot of the same. And again, the NFL is a week by week league, right? And again, our job here is to not give you guys false optimism this week, but to say, you know what, hey, if there's a chance for us to win, if we have a chance to win, if we're the same team, if we're gonna grow as a team, what does it look like this week? So again, Big Jumbo, we got a lot to talk about this week. I got a lot to say this week, and I don't really want to overtalk it. So again, we could let's take a step back down memory lane. And again, I know some of y'all at P4P ATL, y'all gonna skip past when we talk about the Seahawks, because y'all don't want to hear about it, y'all don't want to think about it, but we need to talk about it, because everything in that game was not bad. We actually got some things that we need to build on. So again, we do it step by step. So Big Jumbo, like I said, man, you know what? Let me throw it back to you, and let's just start high level, man. I mean, other than the score, was there anything that you liked last week? Was there anything that you felt good about, as a DBN P4P, you know what I'm saying, guy?
Hey, Ashley, to be honest, I did. Now, I won't be surprised if the Atlanta Falcons old organization used this as a preseason game. It's a hellified way to use to get you a preseason game in. But now you have done that. We don't need now another one. Now, I said that before the last show, and I said it to Toby D. I said, man, I really hope Dan Quinn don't try to use this game as a preseason game. And my God, it kind of looked like he did. But good God, I got some positives about it, that thing, if I ain't got no other. Matt Ryan dropped back 54 times and one was sacked twice. That got to be awesome. James Carpenter, I really didn't have no problem with you, big dog. Good job over there. Keep it up. But somebody is rolling down your back. Somebody's on your back, so you actually playing well. And I like it. Offensive line, jail. Defensive line, hell of a job. Grady Jerry, you are a monster. And I don't care what nobody else say about you. Defensive line, Tad McKinley. First game. Come on out there and show us what's happening. I love it. Keep up the energy. I think he led the league in pressures last week. He was in second or first or second. I think he was in second behind Jones for Kansas City Chiefs. He had so much pressure on Russ Wilson. It didn't make no sense. Tad McKinley, keep it up, big dog. So, like I say, building the team from inside out, right? Offensive line, bright spot, beautiful. Defensive line, bright spot, beautiful. Everything kind of after that is kind of hit and miss. You see what I'm saying? So the positive I am getting out of this is Matt Ryan was on the ground only twice. And one time he ran out of the pocket and held the ball too long because he was trying to throw to Luke Stalker. And that's kind of the offensive coordinator there. That's you plan to play for Luke Stalker. You need to cut it out, okay? It didn't happen last year. Probably not going to happen this year. Don't need to happen again in the future. Learn from your mistakes if you did use this game as a preseason game, and let's get ready for the Cowboys. Now, that secondary, get up to speed with that defensive line. You're going to have to get up to speed with them because they are in mid-season form like no other. Dante Fowler, half a sack. Grady Jarrett, sack and a half. Tat McKinley, sack. 3 sacks in that game. And boy, it took us a long time last year to get to a 1 sack. So to have 3 in the first game with 3 different players involved in that thing, I love it a lot. Now, I got some stuff I want to put on. I'm going to jump into in my closing thoughts that I kind of was pissed off about, still kind of pissed off about, getting out of my mind a little bit because we're moving on to the Cowboys. It's week 2, for God's sakes. But there's some coaching things that I need to talk about, man. And it's really been egging me. It's really been on my mind. And it's been blowing my mind. Actually, hear Coach Shady. It's just been blowing my mind. I really can't. I really can't. I don't know what to say, Mike. I really don't know what to say about this.
I'll be honest with you. I think that when we look at the closing thoughts, I do think we need to put some time to talk about our coaches because, I'm guilty of it. You guilty of it. Toby, right. JR, we all guilty of it. We try to give as much optimism about the coaching staff that we can.
do.
But I think in some of the responses, I'm wondering if the gap is too wide for us to really set the tone with how the defense could potentially play this year. But, before we touch on that, before we start going into what we didn't like, because, again, there's more that we probably did not like about the way the game turned out than what we liked. But here are 3 things that I want to – well, here's one thing that I want to touch on that involves our receiving corps. Kudos to our receiving corps. Shout out to Russell Gage. Shout out to Calvin Ridley. Shout out to Julio Jones. 3 receivers over 100 yards. Hey, Jimbo, I don't think I've ever seen as a Falcons fan 3 receivers in a Falcons uniform go over 100 yards. So shout out to the chemistry. Really, hey, first and foremost, shout out to the jugs machine at Flower Ridge Ranch because I can tell we've been using it. We dropped nothing, and that is immaculate. Again, wins or losses, we got to go with the superlatives. Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, Russell Gage, great job. Keep that same momentum rolling, and I love it.
I want to drop something on that real quick. Those 3 receivers, exactly identical. 9 catches, 12 targets. Insane. Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, and Russell Gage was 9 for 12. Now, Jones had 157 yards, Ridley had 130 and 2 tutties, and Gage had 114 yards. But they all 3 of them had 9 receptions and 12 targets. That is insane to me. That's Derek Carter, right? That's Derek Carter, right, Mike?
Yeah. And that's why, when we look at how frustrating the secondary is, and listen, pound for pound, please do not skip this video. We will spend some time talking about the secondary. But again, this is a 16-game season. This is not a 1-game season. If this was a 1-game season, I'd be frustrated right now. I would have never taken Freddie the Falcon out of the trash can. He would have stayed there till next season. Hey, but again, it's a new week and a new week to take Freddie the Falcon out of the trash can. So going forward, P4P family, if you want to know what Freddie the Falcon is, just, hey, if we win, he stay up here with me. If we lose, he's in the trash can because that's really what our play has been indicative of. Anyway, all jokes aside, though, another thing I want to touch on as a positive that really stuck out to me was Todd Gurley. And Todd Gurley being able to set the tone early, I think, is something that will pay dividends for us later. It shows to us why we have to make stops on defense early in the first quarter, early in the second quarter. We cannot allow teams to get up on, to get ahead of us. Because what happens is, hey, that's great. Our 3 receivers, 9 receptions each, 27 catches between 3 receivers is absolutely insane.
It's insane, man.
It's borderline phenomenal. But on the flip side, what that tells us is we have taken the ball out of Todd Gurley's hand. At the end of the day, I love to see those guys get their numbers, but I would love to see Todd Gurley continue to have 15 carries, 17 carries. When we take the ball out of Todd Gurley's hand, that's a big playback. Again, we see what he can do when we're in a position to set the tone. And that was one thing that we touched on last week in our dues, set the tone. We were trying to do that in the beginning, but again, we ran into an absolute buzzsaw. And I'll be honest with you, Russell Wilson might have had a Seahawks jersey on, but you know what he looked like to me? He looked like one of them 10-cent coins. He looked like a dime. That's all he was throwing at. He was throwing dimes wherever he wanted to. And at the end of the day, I will say this. Outside of Tom Brady in the Patriots system, he is probably one of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFL to do more with less as a quarterback all time. You have to realize that I don't know if Russell Wilson is still underrated to you, but to me, he is a first ballot, maybe second ballot Hall of Famer because of, one, he throws the best deep ball in the NFL. If you ask Bill Belichick right now, I looked at NFL.com. They asked Bill Belichick, how do you feel about facing Russell Wilson? Bill Belichick, one of the greatest football minds in the history of the NFL, said Russell Wilson is the best quarterback in the NFL right now. Didn't hesitate, has played against Russell Wilson for many years. Let us not feel like we didn't do anything. And true enough, hey, we have a suspect secondary again, which we're creeping over to touch on.
We're going to get on it.
But on the flip side, let's give Russell Wilson his credit, because at the end of the day, we were all hell bent on stopping the run, stopping Chris Carson, making sure Carlos Hyde didn't have a big day. And I mean, to an extent, we kind of did that, but I mean, again, DK Metcalf, fourth down, all of that kind of stuff. I think that's why we just all feel like, I mean, that's great, 27 catches. And you think about that, man. Like I said, we don't take the time to celebrate the wins our team had. And there's a lot of players, like I said, that has some great individual performances. But it's a team game, Big Jimbo. And you know what? Again, those are the positive. We're not going to spend too much time on the positive. To your point, now listen, I'm gonna let you start this off, because I'm a little upset about the secondary, because I expected more. I expected Ricardo Allen to be that brainy player and make plays. I expected KZ to be around the field more. I really expected Keanu O'Neal to set the tone a little bit more. He played a little bit more than I thought he was. And the defensive backs, man, I just don't know where to start. Let me ask you something. Do you want to throw Joe Witt Jr. in there? I just want you to talk about the secondary, how you see it. And I don't really want to say anything, because it's just I'm gonna touch on those guys in my closing thoughts.
But it looked like to me, Mike, they didn't cut them loose, right? You had them kind of based. They were kind of based. It's almost like you didn't really have confidence in what the product that you had on the field. That's kind of what I was seeing. You was kind of scared to cut them loose, and you was kind of scared of letting them be exactly who they are, right? You got to take the best player. You got to take your well, I ain't gonna say your best player. You got to take your product type of people, like Isaiah Oliver and AJ Terrell are products. They're experiment. They young. I mean, Isaiah Oliver got a lot to work on. AJ Terrell is a rookie. But like you touched on one time, Mike, you said this. And I said it. I said they're going to go at AJ Terrell a lot because he's a rookie. Then you said, no, they probably ain't. They probably going to go after Isaiah Oliver more simply because he got the flaws. And AJ Terrell is just a little bit more polished than any other rookie cornerback in the league right now. So that's what they did. What one of his weaknesses? The fly route. Shout out to Toby D. And that's what they went at. It was one of his weaknesses. They went after the fly route. Now, what is Isaiah Oliver good at? That's what you need to figure out, Joe Wick Jr., Raheem Morris. Figure out what he's good at and let him do that. Now, Sheffield come back, different story. We're going to have some depth. We're going to have a different story. Denard can go inside and out. He can play both. He said that himself. So if the first game was an experiment to fill that secondary out, they picked a hell of a time to do it for Atlanta Falcons fans because we want to win every game. Right. But if you're going to experiment, go ahead and experiment early. Don't wait till we fight for a wild card to experiment. Let's go ahead and experiment early. You know Isaiah Oliver flaws, so I mean you're gonna get that. But
let me ask you this, and I'm trying to hold back my emotion because it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating what you just said. I'll tell you why. Because I'm one of those data and analytics guys. I'm a data and analytic geek. I love the numbers behind things, right? So let's look at numbers. DK Metcalf, right? He had one of the most impressive NFL combines a couple of years ago in NFL history. Freaking nature. Now, one thing we know about DK Metcalf, that's a big, almost tight end, Megatron, Julio Jones, bodied receiver who runs a 4-3, similar to Julio Jones. Let me tell you the difference between him and Julio Jones, though. Julio Jones can run the entire route tree with the same intensity, okay?
Yeah.
DK Metcalf at a 4.39, what he is most elite at doing is straight line speed. So from a straight line standpoint, he runs a 4.39. But when he did the cone drills, which test your lateral agility, which test your ability to kind of go cut in and out of your breaks, he might have tested almost at the same level of alignment. So if we know that DK Metcalf's number one route, which is how he gets paid in the league every week, is the fly route, why do you have a receiver whose weakness is guarding the fly route against a receiver's strength? Why do we have a receiver's weakness? A cornerback's weakness against a receiver's strength?
That's kind of what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You know, Isaiah weakness is a fly route. Metcalf, all Metcalf can do is a fly route, and then you got him on him. Go ahead and finish it, Mike. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But my question to you is, it's like, okay, so is it Raheem Morris saying, I want to put Isaiah Oliver there, or did Joe Witt tell him, hey, let's put Isaiah Oliver out here on this play? Who do we blame? Somebody is to blame for that 4th and 3, that breakdown on 4th and 3 to have Isaiah Oliver on an island. And I'm gonna tell you something. I tell my son this. He's 7 years old. I was like, when you look at the back of a guy's jersey, more than likely he's about to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, no question, Mike.
so
I mean, is experimenting. You wanted to see early in the season, can Isaiah Oliver guard the fly route like he kind of did at camp?
okay.
We got that out of the way first game. All right, pound ATL, that is over. We know it now. He still can't do it. Well, now we got some time to work with him. Hands on, Joe Witt Jr. Hands on here right now. We used that as an experiment to see if he can do it. He said he could. He looked like he can do it in camp. We got it out the way already. That's another positive, Mike. That is over. Now we know we can adjust accordingly because we cannot hit that panic button in the first game coming off a pandemic. We had to get a preseason game from somewhere. It just happened to be the Seattle Seahawks. We know who Isaiah Oliver is now. Let's move on. You kind of see where I'm going with this one.
You know what?
So we know now. We know Isaiah Oliver can't guard the fly route. He couldn't do it. He just can't do it. We got it. You see?
And you know what? To that point, and here's the thing: we could touch a little bit more on the secondary, and we can move on to these Cowboys because I think we got a lot to touch on those guys too, because there's a lot of similarities in the Cowboys and the Falcons, but we'll touch on those because again, that we could go forward with similarities. So let's touch back on this secondary really quick. Let me ask you this though, one parting question, and this is kind of a lead into next week. Do you see with, I would say, the performance that Isaiah Oliver put out with, like you said, you touched on the versatility of Denard. Do you see potentially Denard going to the outside, them trying Oliver in the inside, or Isaiah Oliver just going out the field this week? And have we given up on Isaiah Oliver at the game one? Basically is what I'm saying. And if we have, does he have a shot in the nickel? That's kind of two questions.
The best thing you can have as a football player is film. Putting film out and watching film, and for the coaches as well. The best thing you can have in your arsenal is film. Now we got film. You can't give up on Isaiah Oliver yet. You know why? Because we got film now. Now Joe Witt Jr. can really go to work. You see, at camp, I'm not really getting a live look. I'm not getting a full game pace look. I can't really experiment. I'm experimenting. I'm doing my experiment right now. I really can't tell what's what. Let me go ahead and get this out of the way. Now I can pinpoint every little thing at game speed. And then behind Isaiah Oliver is Darqueze Dennard on the depth chart. If y'all don't know that, right? So it's possible you can slide Dennard out to the outside. Dennard willing to play any one of them. You can slide him out to the outside. Sheffield, you coming back. We can slide you into the nickel where you naturally play. Because with the Dallas Cowboys, and we're going to touch on this, with their tight end being out, CeeDee Lamb is going to see a lot of more targets. That slot is going to see a lot of more targets simply because their main tight end is out for the season. So this might be the perfect thing for the Atlanta Falcons, actually. We might need to be happy that game one went the way that it did, because it's going to taught us and taught the coaches so much that when we two come back around, you be much confident and a little bit more fluent and move a little bit more faster and be a little bit more simple and make the adjustments that you need to make for the players that you need to make with in a certain package in order to beat the Dallas Cowboys. So like I said, Darqueze, we can put you on the outside now if we're not going to try Oliver again, if we can show some type of improvement during practice. I think Joe Witt Jr. is going to make sure he show improvement in practice because he can dissect film and tell him where he went wrong at. But if they just don't want to do that, if they sick of his fly zone, he giving and out gifts, Santa Claus, is they sick of Santa Claus, Mr. Isaiah Oliver? If they sick of you being Santa Claus and just giving out presents, Darqueze, and that's a good thing about that. We got ready for this whole season. Atlanta Falcons got ready for this. So move Darqueze Dennard out there, put Sheffield in we're gonna need Sheffield in the slot this week. Because
Yeah.
CD
Well,
Lamb,
well, well, well.
CD
That's
Lamb is going to be ready
so.
to go with that tight end missing, Mike. Go ahead.
So we got to touch on it. Sheffield has not practiced this entire week, so we may not have Sheffield. So I think that's a good time. Okay, so now is a good time. Let's go ahead and talk. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up the Cowboys depth chart real quick. I'm gonna run the depth chart real quick, and we'll talk about the we'll talk about the depth chart real quick because we won't have Sheffield, and I think having a Sheffield would make it a much easier decision because they were neck and neck anyway. Think about it. Isaiah Oliver might have played a little bit better if Sheffield was breathing down his neck because they were clamoring from the same position. And let's not forget that Isaiah Oliver did have a great breakup on third down. But again, most NFL cornerbacks have a breakup at some point in time. That's why they're in the NFL. But anyway, so let's look at the offense real quick for the Cowboys. So quarterback, of course, we know they got Dak Prescott. Running back, we got Ezekiel Elliott. Receiver, Amari Cooper. Receiver, Michael Gallup. Watch out for that guy. CeeDee Lamb, definitely on our radar. Tight end, we got Dalton Schultz, young guy. Tyron Smith. Now, Tyron Smith is questionable. We'll touch on him a little bit later, because that might be somewhere we can exploit. But again, left guard, you got Connor Williams. Center, you got Joe Looney. Right guard, the incomparable Zach Martin, who's just been around forever, been a beast for a long time.
Yeah.
Terrence Steele at right tackle. Okay. So, matter of fact, Terrence Steele at right tackle. That's a rookie. So that's another one. We can go back and touch on him in a second. So, okay. 4-3 defense. They got DeMarcus Lawrence, left defensive end. Left defensive tackle is a guy most Falcon fans are familiar with. Tariq Poe. Tristan Hill, right defensive tackle. Tyrone Crawford, other right defensive end. Weak side linebacker Jalen Smith. Middle linebacker Joe Thomas. Strong side linebacker Arden Smith. Welcome back to the NFL, Arden Smith. Looks like you might have gotten your life together, and you look like the best Cowboy on the field last week. So that might be something we need to watch out for that we have not discussed. Anthony Brown, Anthony Brown, left corner. Strong safety, you got Darian Thompson. Free safety, you got Xavier Wood. Right corner, you got another rookie in Trevon Diggs. So, and again, we'll go through the special teams guys at another time. Again, we're just going to touch on the X's and O's, right? So, I gave you the depth chart. You could take us away, man. Is there anything on that depth chart? Anybody on that depth chart concern you other than Zeke? Zeke is kind of like Todd Gurley. It's like Zeke concerns you kind of like Todd Gurley concerns you. They can take over a game at any given time. Outside of Zeke, the elephant in the room, what concerns you about this Cowboys team?
My thing is they can run the ball. Dak can throw the ball. And they got an offensive line like no other, right? So, okay, Dak, 25 for 39, 266 yards, and a touchdown against the Los Angeles the Rams. Not too bad, right? Cooper, 10 for 14, 81 yards. Lamb, 5 for 6, 59 yards. I say Lamb because tight end is out. He's going to get more targets. They're going to lean on him a little more. But please believe, they are watching that Seahawks film. They are watching that. They know what they're going to go after and what they're not going to go after. But at the end of the day, the Dallas Cowboys do. Now, Raheem Moore, listen to this. Dallas Cowboys, they got Ezekiel Elliott. He had a receiving touchdown and a rushing touchdown. So he can do both. Now, the head of the snake, like Russell Wilson was for the Seahawks, head of the snake is Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott, you need to give Dak Prescott some of that money. Okay? No, Dak Prescott, you need to give Ezekiel Elliott some money. When you get paid, give him some money because he's making you look good. And nothing against Dak Prescott now because Dak Prescott is Russell Wilson-like. Raheem Morris, do not ignore Dak Prescott, okay? He's mobile, just like Russell Wilson. He can throw too, just like Russell Wilson. He's an RPO guy, just like Russell Wilson. You are facing a guy that you are 2 weeks to prepare for almost the same guy. Do not ignore this guy. Get ready for everything, Raheem Morris. We did that in high school and in college. We got ready for everything that could possibly hurt us. Not just one-dimensional. Ain't no such thing as one-dimensional in the NFL. Now, you could be one-dimensional in the NFL and in high school and maybe in college. But you can't be one-dimensional in the NFL because everybody is pros. So prepare for everything, right? But my little sneaky little man, I think that might hurt us, Mike, is CeeDee Lamb. Like I said, that tight end is out.
Yeah.
If the week we do need is Kendall, if we need Sheffield the most, it's this week right here. We
Right.
need Sheffield to be live and ready. If he's not, he didn't practice this week. I think that's gonna come back and bite us a little bit, Mike, because they gonna target CeeDee Lamb more and more as this season go on. And
But
don't think they ain't finna start now because our secondary is lackluster. Oh, they finna start this week simply because they know what Russell Wilson just did. Go ahead.
right. Well, and I think, man, we there. We locked in brain wise right now because when I think of CeeDee Lamb, let me tell you something. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of a guy that actually has a Falcon helmet on right now, and it's Calvin Ridley. Just in terms of what kind of impact they can make as rookies. Because let's not forget, the Saints thought they had an answer for Julio Jones that day, but they didn't have no answer. They had no game plan for Calvin Ridley scoring 3 touchdowns in the first half. CeeDee Lamb is that type of player. To be honest with you, majority of Falcons Nation that is watching right now said, hey, AJ Terrell, we got CeeDee Lamb right here. Bring him on. Bring CeeDee Lamb, make him an Atlanta Falcon, which would be
You
great.
one of
I was one of them. Definitely, I wanted CeeDee Lamb. But again, I know what type of player that we're going to see on Sunday. But I do think that, I will say this. The reason why I think you move more of a CeeDee Lamb, you move more of a Darqueze Dennard to an outside corner, and you maybe move a Oliver on the inside, is that I really think that Michael Gallup, see, to be honest with you, the reason why I'm glad you touched on CeeDee Lamb is that their receiving core actually reminds me of our receiving core about 2 years ago when you had Mohamed Sanu, when you had, Julio, Calvin Ridley, right? Because if you look at it, Amari Cooper is kind of their Julio Jones type receiver. Gallup is more of like a Mohamed Sanu type guy, big blocking guy, good hands, capable of breaking it every now and then. But again, the X factor is CeeDee Lamb. He is a guy that I will always scheme for. And I'm going to tell you something. Having a rookie at corner makes me extremely nervous. Now, if you say the game, what is the game where I feel like AJ Terrell is going to get multiple targets no matter who it is? I believe it's going to be CeeDee Lamb, because I'm going to tell you something. A lot of times, man, rookies are so ignorant sometimes that they're going to get their best against an NFL guy that's been there 8 or 9 years, right? Because they don't know any better. They're just going to get their best because you don't know what they're capable of, what they can do, what they can't do, all of that kind of stuff. But what I will say is this. AJ Terrell is fully aware of what CeeDee Lamb is capable of doing. You know what I mean? So those are two rookies that I would say I'm not sure who the better football player is, because both are elite, talented guys. I would actually take AJ Terrell over some NFL cornerbacks right now, but against CeeDee Lamb, I'm not sure. So if there's one position, if there's one battle that concerns me the most, it's another receiver versus DB battle. But the one thing that gives me some calm is Tyrann Mathieu at left tackle being hurt. He did not practice today. He did not practice yesterday. And if you hadn't practiced this week, again, he's a veteran. Him not taking those reps and being in the game planning and practicing makes me feel like the defensive line, shout out to Takk McKinley. Again, we got to respect Takk McKinley, because the first thing he did when he got that first sack against Russell Wilson last week was do what? Throw up that 5. Y'all disrespected me. I'm bringing it every week because I'm trying to get paid. Shout out to Takk, because I saw that you just had a kid, and it just looks like, you're doing it for something a little bit bigger than you right now. Takk, I don't have no problems with you. You won't hear me mention your name on this show in a negative light. You continue to play exactly how you are. Now, one thing I'll say, guess what? You can talk all you want. If you're backing it up, Takk, it's great. But this is a week where we're going to need you. If a left tackle is out on a line like that, a beleaguered line, Lael Collins, they have a worse offensive line. Let's be real now. Listen, they have a worse offensive line this go around than when Adrian Claiborne got 6 sacks back in Mercedes-Benz Stadium a couple years ago. It's a much worse, beleaguered, injured offensive line very early in the season. And I'm going to be honest with you. We really have a chance to stomp the Cowboys this week and put their playoff hopes in jeopardy. We do. We literally do. I know, like I said, Jan Quinn is on the hot seat and all that kind of stuff. But again, we are in a better position to make the Cowboys 0-2 than they are for us, just because at the end of the day, we have more veterans in critical positions that's going to win this game for us. We have got to put the veterans in position to win the game. Todd Gurley's got to win the game for us this week. Julio Jones has to win the game for us this week. Matt Ryan has to win the game for us this week. Devo Jones has to be making plays this week. This is not a game where we will hope AJ Terrell overachieves any of that. If we're hoping that our rookies are going to, be the star player in this game, then this game is already lost before we suit up. And if we play these guys in Dallas, not that it matters where we play these guys at, but it's just a lot that has to go right. And I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, we're a 4-point underdog right now. I can see why, to be honest with you, because again, it looks like we playing the exact same team on paper.
And I'm finna go on over the coaches, and this is a positive pound for pound ATL. This is a positive. Dan Quinn got Mike McCartney's got his number. When he was with the Packers, we used to bust them up. Super Bowl year, we blew them out. We beat the Packers. So he know how to prepare for a Mike McCartney offense. Now, I know they got, what's his name over there running the offense, the kid from the quarterback for Boise State. That kid, Kellen Moore. They got Kellen Moore as they OC.
Kellen Moore.
That's so right. It's almost the same, but at the same time, Dan Quinn know how to beat a Mike McCartney team. He should know. He have done it in the past. Right. He have beat a Seahawks team too, same way. But this is your chance to show that you know how to adjust. Now, what I think the Falcons did last week too is had a problem adjusting during the game. You got to be able to adjust in game, make an in-game adjustments to win a game. It's something that's not going your way, or they hurt you with something, you have to switch it up. If Jamal Adams is blitzing off that end so much, and you see him keep coming, you got to find a way to adjust to stop that. You just can't let him keep coming. When Pete Carroll came out and said that he was going to blitz him a little more than he did with the New York Jets. You can't do that, Mike.
But you know what, though? Here's one thing I add, though. So let's talk back on positives, though. That's a big positive. One, the Cowboys does not have a Jamal Anderson. Jamal Anderson. Shout out to the Dirty Bird. Hey, what's up, baby? They do not have a Jamal Adams type player on their defense. Right. And I'm going to tell you something. With Leighton Vander Esch, their middle linebacker, their star middle linebacker being out, we have a chance to expose. Now, I will be honest with you. I will be grim next week on the show if we do not expose this Cowboys team because we have a cookie cut opportunity. Here's the thing. I'll go hard on Dan Quinn. Yep, his job is on fire. He's very he's a stubborn coach. He's stuck in his ways. He puts out the same defense. We saw the same thing we've seen. But I think, again, to your point, I will go on the side of Jimbo. One preseason freebie, one, hey, we're just figuring it out. AJ Terrell, shout out to you. You get to play a whole game. You get to shake Russell Wilson's hand. And I really didn't like how excited you were to shake Russell Wilson's hand after the game. Not that I'm against bad sportsmanship, but it looked like you were really excited and like, oh my God, it's Russell Wilson. And I get to see him, and I'm really excited that I get to play against him. Man, that's cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure you look up to these guys. But when I got on shoulder pads, he got on shoulder pads. I don't really care. I don't really care who. I don't care who is over there. If Michael Jordan at quarterback, then I'm picking you off, Michael Jordan, and I'm pointing at you when I run to the end zone. I'm high stepping like Dion. But at the end of the day, this is a week. This is a week where we have got to. I say it every week. We have got to score early on these guys. We have got to get up. This is a week, man. Can as Falcons Nation, as Falcons fans, can we see our team go up 13-0 on somebody? And let's work with that. Can we see our team go up 13-0 and see just how much of a weapon we have in Todd Gurley and give him the ball and let Todd Gurley slow the game down? Give Brian Hill the ball, let him slow the game down. Can we execute on fourth down? Dan Quinn, I love your gambling. Listen, I love your Las Vegas attitude. But again, your fourth down gambles have hurt us for years. So if you known as a rambling gambling coach with no results, then you're a rambling gambling coach with no results. But Dan Quinn, like I said, guys, listen, it's a good time to send a big jumbo. I know we about to move over to our closing thoughts. But again, man, remember this. 3 things I'm going to leave y'all with, because I know as we talk about the Cowboys, y'all like, yeah, the Cowboys, but y'all still thinking Seahawks. It's Saturday night. It's 7 o'clock, and you still thinking about the Seahawks. Listen, tomorrow, like I said, when these boys strap up and play, we're going to be ready to roll. You know what I mean? It's going to be a team that it's 16 games. We got 15 more games. This is a good chance for us to get back to what we're doing, keep the same enthusiasm, stay locked in. We used to the stress. If they win 35-34, we don't care. And again, y'all ain't getting no prediction out of us this week. I made the mistake of doing a prediction last week. And I saw Russell Wilson go out there and say, oh, prediction, really? I think he might have heard my prediction, and they changed their game plan to go out and just let Russ cook. And I don't want to hear. I don't want to see Russ cook anymore. To be honest, he can cook. He can cook everywhere. He can cook in every city he go to. But I don't want to see Russ cook in Atlanta no more. I don't want to see any quarterback cook. So if we let Russ cook, I just want to let Dak sit, man. Look, let's make Dak. Please don't make Dak look worthy of that crazy contract extension that he's trying to get.
Don't give him no money. Yeah.
That's it. And if we do that, I'm good, man. Like I said, Big Jimbo, you can top these people. I ain't got nothing else on this.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we done with the Seahawks. On to the Cowgirls, right? So I'm gonna say this, right? If Tyron Smith, if left tackle is not playing, exploit that, right? If the tight end Jordan out for the season, not playing, be ready for that third slot, that third receiver, CeeDee Lamb. Be ready for him to get more targets to make up the slack, please. That linebacker core, Vanner Ish is out. Exploit that linebacker core, okay? This is easy. This is easy game planning. I'm game planning for you right now. Exploit their weaknesses. That's what make Belichick so good. What your weakness is, he finna exploit it as much as he can. I'm naming the weaknesses right now. Vanner Ish out. Exploit the linebackers. Tyron Smith might not play. If he do play, he's injured. Exploit that. Tight end is not gonna be there. Expect for that third wide receiver, that slot receiver, to pick up the slack. Just expect it. We know Ezekiel Elliott. We know Dak Prescott. We know these people. We got to stop them as well. Get ready for everything. The Dallas Cowboys is not finna come in here and lay down for nobody. And they better believe we ain't finna come in there and lay down either. Matt Ryan, great game last week. Julio Jones, great game last week. Grady Jarrett, great game last week. Right. And Ricardo Allen, play him a little bit more.
Please.
You know? What we talking about here? Big nickel? We're going to have to play that a little bit more. If you're going to play it, play it. Unless you're just experiencing. Okay, week 1 is over. Experimenting, like Mike said, little preseason, give me, you got it. You're done. It's done. It's over. Raheem Morris, you want to be a head coach in this league in the future. Don't keep doing that, bud. You're going to kill that resume. You're going to kill that resume.
And you give me Raheem Morris in the closing thoughts. I got him in my closing thoughts. Okay. So I don't know who you got. If it's Raheem Morris, then we'll talk about him twice. But he's in my closing thoughts. But
I mean, let's mosey on to the closing thought. That Pound ATL. And if you're new to the channel, please like, share, and subscribe because this is Pound ATL. We moving to the top on our way. Shout out to JR. Shout out to Toby D. Pound ATL family. Great live show that last Tuesday. Y'all love it. Y'all boys was on it. A little upset, but we moving on to week 1, and we all gonna talk about this. It's time to go. All right, Dan Quinn, it's time to go. Raheem Moore, it's time to go. Joe Witt Jr., step on in there. Jeff Albert, let's go. It's time to go. All right? These Dallas Cowboys is not finna come in. They're not finna play around with us. You got to understand it. Closing thoughts, Big Mike. I'm going to jump on it first. And my thing is disguising the coverage. It's going to be secondary. So when Raheem Morris took over, when we went 6-2, the defense, like JR said, the defense, this is my closing thoughts now. The defense did not change. Only thing changed was disguising coverages. And you didn't do a good job at it the first game of the season in 2020. Are you kidding me? You got to be better as a coach. Now, a lot of people were saying before the coaches came out and made the statements they made, don't blame the coaches. It's the players. They can't get out on the field and make the plays for the coaches, but the coaches can put them in position and utilize their strength to win a game. What's your players good at? Do you know your players? Learn your players. What is that player good at? What's that player's weakness? Isaiah Oliver's weakness is a fly route. We know this. Now, if you were experimenting, good for you. It's over with. Now, if you get beat on the fly route again, somebody got to answer some questions. This secondary disguising, not disguising well. You can't disguise bump and run there. Hold on now. I almost got mad. You cannot disguise bump and run. If you in bump and run, you in bump and run. Now, if you're going to bump and bail, you probably need to get out of that a little faster than you did. But disguising a bump and run, it ain't no disguising that. It's man versus man. It's on. It's me versus you in the boxing ring. We finna fight. Let's get it. I am not finna let you beat me. That's your attitude. I want you to have the attitude of a defensive back. And the defensive back attitude with prime time, the great Atlanta Falcons taught us, you're going to be cocky, you're going to be smart, and you're going to play hard and fast, and you're going to let that wide receiver know he's in for a long day. You're going to let that wide receiver know that you cannot beat me because I am a defensive back. I got this swag. I am the best player. I should be the best athlete on the field. As in the secondary, that's what you should be. It ain't no time for no excuses in no secondary. Ain't no slipping and falling in the secondary. Ain't no you should have got that. My bad. I was late. Ain't none of that in the secondary. When you do that, it's a touchdown. Act like a defensive back. Know what a defensive back is. Know the role. Know the swag. Know the attitude. Get off in somebody's ass, man. You don't have time for tomorrow as a defensive back because it's somebody that's gonna come in there and show you how to be a defensive back. I know what a defensive back is. I played it from high school through college. Know what it is. Believe in yourself. You should have the most confidence on that field because at the end of the day, you're on an island by yourself and ain't nobody that'll help you. You're going to be left out to stranded. Pick yourself up. Be a dog and be a man in the secondary because you don't have any other choice unless you want to be an orphan. Now, I'm sick and tired of people not acting like DBs. Isaiah, be a defensive back, man. Show some swag, brother. Be mean. Get a personal foul or something. I don't care. But be a DB. And that's my closing thoughts. Big Mike, ride on right with it, man. Pound ATL, dog.
I mean, we're going to keep it defensive. We're going to keep it defensive because I think the offense did their job. First and foremost, offensive line. Shout out to you. Like you said, James Carpenter, Matt Hennessy, offensive line, all the receivers. Hayden Hurst, great catch. But again, keep the closing thoughts on the defense. And it's for Raheem Morris. So, I got to pull Freddie Falcon back out because, me and Freddie Falcon, we sitting here, we watching Raheem Morris interview. And then he says, we didn't do a good enough job of disguising our coverages. And then Freddie Falcon just looked at me and like, yeah, I'm looking at you, Freddie Falcon, like, yeah, we didn't do a good enough job of describing our coverages. Of course we didn't do a good enough job of disguising our coverages. At the end of the day, we played the Seahawks last year. We saw what the Seahawks are capable of. It's not like this is a team we have not seen. This is not a team where rookies beat us. You ask yourself, how many rookies from the Seahawks got us beat? And it wasn't many. Not many rookies made plays. DK Metcalf scored a touchdown in last year's game. He scores a touchdown in this year's game. Tyler Lockett, he gets open, but hey, they had to PI him because he was about to score a touchdown if Ricardo Allen wouldn't have gotten that controversial PI call, which I thought, anyway. But again, it was close. It was close. Raheem Morris said that their plan was to affect Russell Wilson physically, but we didn't affect Russell Wilson mentally. Let me tell you something. Raheem Morris, you've been in the league for far too long to not affect Russell Wilson mentally. Let me tell you something. That's like guarding Michael Jordan, guarding Kobe Bryant, guarding you name the NBA player that's in his prime and say, oh, yeah, we're just going to beat him up physically. Screw his mind. So at the end of the day, you can beat up Kobe Bryant physically. But again, until you take his mind, he's going to keep shooting on you. He's used to the physicality. He's used to getting hit. He's used to sending tack to hit him after the play. But you know what? Russell Wilson mentally is a strong football player. So you try to physically beat a player that's mental as well. We cannot afford that same luxury this week. Dak Prescott is not the mental quarterback that Russell Wilson is. Now, physically, they're the same kind of quarterback. Dual threat, can throw out of the pocket, can throw on the run, can make every throw, blase, blase, blah. But this is not the same quarterback. This is a quarterback that we can say is not as good as Matt Ryan. I will say that because that quarterback did not throw for 450 yards and is not one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time statistically. We, as Falcons fans, deserve better defensively. And I'm going to tell you something. If we get beat this week, let us blame Matt Ryan. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you something. You P4Pers. My apologies, P4P. I'm a little frustrated right now. My closing thought. This ain't y'all, because we don't think like this. We understand that having a godfather, Matt Ryan, is a blessing, and that we have a great quarterback. But for you Falcons fans out here that want to blame the loss somehow on Matt Ryan, please find another team, find another jersey to support. Because at the end of the day, Matt Ryan is not the problem. And I'm gonna tell you something. If he is a problem, we'll talk about him next week. But as far as this week, Raheem Morris, please make the adjustments. Now, kudos to you, Raheem Morris, because I'm gonna talk crap to you, but I'm gonna also bring you up and say that, you know what, you understood that you affected Russell Wilson physically. Shout out to the pass rush that you put out there. Some of the new guys stepping up. I love it. That's a result of you. That's a result of Jeff Over. But on the flip side of that, you've been in the league far too long, Raheem Morris, to know that you have to make those adjustments in game. You have to not put your defense in positions where their weaknesses are playing to player strengths. Isaiah Oliver, DK Metcalf, fourth down, press. And again, like I said, my thing about it is we supposed to be social distancing anyway. So that's how you break social distancing, Isaiah Oliver. You press him, man. You finally put your hands on him, man, and he gets right past you. So you need to go back to social distance, either on the bench or playing a little off corner. But again, I had to throw you in there, Isaiah Oliver, because you frustrated. Raheem Morris is frustrated. Jeff Ulbrich's play calling is frustrated. The game management is frustrated defensively. Bob Sutton, where you at? I got to throw you in this because every time the defense suffers, we got all of this brain trust here. We got the exact same play that we had last year. It's week 2. We got to step it up. We will continue to rise up. Again, let's rise up tomorrow. Y'all be there, ready to lock in. Again, next week, we come back with a win. We're going to be more excited. But next week, if it ain't, just tune back in. Keep tuning in. Don't not tune in to us. Because, again, we're going to be frustrated. But if you want to be frustrated with a place, y'all can be frustrated with us. Leave it in those comments. Like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. Keep rocking with P4PATL. Big Jimbo, take us home. I have nothing else to say about the Seahawks. Cowboys or else. Don't talk to me about no Seahawks.
All right, that's it, Big Mike. Appreciate it. You got fired up a little bit. Cowboys, bring your ass. It's time. It's week 2. We moving on. We ready to play, y'all. We ain't gonna get off the field. We ain't gonna run. We ain't gonna hide. We gonna dress up and we gonna come out there and we gonna get it done. At the end of the day, this is Atlanta Falcon football, and it don't not stop. It's not gonna stop. It's gonna go on with without us, right? It's
That's
pound
right.
ATL. We're gonna cover our guys, win or lose. We're gonna be here, win or lose. You can believe that. Hey, catch me and Mike on here every Saturday, 7 o'clock Eastern. Shout out to Toby D. Shout out to JR. This is gonna happen, man. We're gonna be frustrated, but at the same time, we're gonna move on together. It's time to move on to week 2. Bring on the Cowgirls. Let's hit, let's punch, let's fight, let's scratch, and let's do whatever we gotta do to win this game.
That's right.
Rise up.
Let's
Catch
rise
y'all
up.
next week. Y'all stay safe. Have fun. Let's enjoy this game against the Cowboys. Football is back. Do not forget about that. Football is back. Y'all know our Twitters. They on here. Catch us on Twitter. A lot of y'all been hitting me up. I've been answering them back. It's all good. So see y'all next week. Let's get ready for these Cowboys, baby. Time to open up a can. Adios.
All right.